Gledhill. I started to serve an apprenticeship as apprentice fitter in the dry docks where the Corsair is going to finish its life. And then when I was just 20, I went to sea as a junior engineer and then worked my way up to a senior watchkeeper in the Merchant Navy. It's something at the time when it's really bad weather that you are so preoccupied with what is going on either on the deck or in the engine room that you don't really think. But then afterwards, sometimes you do think how bad that was. I had an instance one trip where we was going very, very steadily across the Pacific on our way to New Zealand, and we was running quite steady, and from nowhere, this wave appeared on the horizon, and we literally could watch it rolling to us, and it did a lot of damage. You get 10-metre wave in a really bad weather, like the Bay of Biscay you can. The Australian Bight, that's another notoriously bad sea. But cargo ships, when they're loaded, they're very low in the water. And of course, in the engine room, you feel the least of anywhere on the ship because you're at the lowest point. Well, once we got to our normal ports in Australia, we then started doing routine maintenance, which included, normally we would do, the engines I was on was a post pistons engine. So it was 2 6-cylinder, so we would do probably 12 top pistons and 6 bottom pistons, re-ring, calibrate, generally grind the wear ridges off the liner. And any other, the generators, we used to constantly work on the generators. What was done in a shipyard, we did at sea. I mean, we would have to get Lloyds in to inspect. Yeah, it was continually maintenance, continuous. Again, that doesn't happen these days because they don't carry enough engineers. We'd 18, there was 18 of us. Now there'll be 4. I was 15. I left school on the Friday and I started on the Monday. So I had a big interest before that in photography, and I actually had got a job at a big place in Hull at the time, and I just said to my father, I've got this job, and he didn't say anything. And the next night he came in, he said, you start at dry pole engineering on Monday, you know. That's what you're going to do. And that's what I did. And of course, although I was right on the fringe, I was still could have been eligible for call-up. So if you went in the Merchant Navy, which nearly every apprentice fitters, that's what they did, but you had to do 5 years instead of the 2, I think it was 18 months or 2 years. It can be very, very difficult, very difficult. I mean, there is instances where you wouldn't have fixed it. We had a lot of breakdowns, and another thing we did suffer from quite often was fire, that's scavenge fires. And that's actually a fire within the engine. So obviously, you know, the risk of explosion is quite high. I mean, it was very limited. We carried lots and lots of spares, but we had a lathe, so and we had steel and material, and so yeah, you had to also improvise as well. We did carry a lot of spares. Yeah, you had to, certainly on the engineering side, you know, it would be taking very dim view if you didn't fix it, very dim view. But that wasn't always possible, you know, but mostly, yeah, you got by. Fish stock was very good. It was a really good, and I worked at a very good company. I worked at Boydland. But of all my working life, I preferred sea. But you can imagine that if you're doing 5 months away and say 2 or 3, maybe, I don't think I ever stretched to 3, but that can cause a few problems at home as well, so, but I preferred sea. Once you get away, it just becomes a way of life, and it's a routine, 4 on, 8 off, 4 on, 8 off, depending what you are. Third engineer did the 12 to 4, fourth engineer did the 8 to 12, second engineer did the 4 to 8. So really, if you was the third engineer, you drew the short straw. I looked around and I went to Deutz Engines in Germany as a service engineer. So say there was a dry docking of a ship and it had Deutz engines, very often the owner, the company or the shipyard would call us in to supervise the overhaul. We was lazy. All the Germans spoke, because most of the Germans was travelling all the time, all over the world, so they got away with English wherever they went. And so when they spoke to us, they naturally spoke English, and we did. Although I couldn't speak German, you do learn to pick little bits up what's been said, but they're fine with you anyway.